talk a little bit about Ole Miss and Texas A&M. Ole Miss scored first, as they are wont to do. Is that as good a word as doth?
Well,
can you make a prop bet somewhere on Ole Miss scoring first drive of the game? Because we could be rich right now.
And in less than 2.5 minutes.
The best opening drive team in America. They've got to be.
7 plays, 75 yards, minute 58, mix of run and pass. I mean, gashing Texas A&M on the ground. And then an 18-yard touchdown pass to Dayton Wade from Jackson Dart, his first of 3. Texas A&M didn't take long to answer. Their first offensive possession, they go 8 plays, 77 yards, 321, tied at 7. Followed it up with a 15-yard touchdown pass from Connor Wigman. 6 plays, 81 yards in sub 3 minutes as well, and it was 14-7. And at that point, there was a collective from Ole Miss fans.
I thought they lost. I thought the game was over after A&M's second touchdown drive. I thought they are losing this game because it was too easy. Ole Miss defensively made it look too easy. And to their credit, now it wasn't perfect. If I remember correctly, they're the first team this year to give up more than 24 points against Texas A&M. But they looked absolutely pathetic and abysmal after the 2 drives, and then they settled in and forced punts, got stopped here, got stopped there, and the game settled in, and then the offense started coming around. You know, everybody's talking about Judkins, rightfully so, but they don't win the game without defense first calming everything down and getting stops so the offense could adjust and start scoring in the second half.
Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but 14-7 Aggies, they get a stop near midfield. Am I right? And they almost went for a 4th and didn't get it. I could be wrong. And at that moment, I think if A&M can put together a drive and go up 21-7, they might have been in good shape.
It's
but
real hard
when they couldn't score. Yeah, and when they couldn't score and they couldn't ever get it past 14-7, I knew they weren't going to win.
Ole Miss had a stretch where after Texas A&M went kind of boom, boom, first couple of drives of the game, they got 5 consecutive stops of A&M's offense. All right, so
that's the football game right there. Those 5 stops, that's the football game.
Absolutely it is. And I thought because A&M, so Ole Miss kicks the field goal with 3.5 minutes left. They keep A&M off the board, so it's a 4-point game at the half. And then Ole Miss stopped Texas A&M on that first drive of the second half, and I thought that was just massive. You know, to get the stop there and not allow A&M to come out of the locker room, really get the crowd going.
And then immediately took the lead.
Yeah. Within the numbers of the game, we got to talk about something. Devon Achane is really, really good. At halftime, he had 17 carries for 124 yards. He averaged 7.3 yards per carry. He did not have a single, not one, negative rushing play. Would you be curious to know where he finished the game?
Yes.
25 carries, 138 yards.
It's embarrassing. What would Devon Achane do in Lane Kiffin's offense?
Ooh.
I mean, what would he do?
He would be Quinshon Judkins.
With more top-end speed.
He's not as physical, but the production would be something like that. Now,
it'd be incredible.
Ole Miss did some
but he's
things
not.
to give him different looks against the run, but that's no excuse. Like you say all the time, Hey Dad, just run the freaking football sometimes. Doesn't matter what looks you're getting. Just do it with a guy like that.
Ole Miss went to a pseudo 4-man front and had a lot of success with it. They didn't go to that exclusively, and it was more of a linebacker walking down or a bandit-type player walking down to be the 4th guy on the line of scrimmage. But it was impressive. So we talk about what A&M did on the ground. Ole Miss ran it for 390 yards. Quinshon Judkins, 34 carries, 205 yards, and a touchdown. Jackson Dart, 17 carries, 95 yards. Of those 17 carries, how many were designed runs? 5? They've backed way off of that.
And all of his design runs weren't great. They were trying to run that little QB sweep a few times, and A&M kind of had that scouted.
Yeah.
It was when he scrambled that he made the big plays.
Yeah, his pocket awareness for a young quarterback is really, really good because in this game, too, his offensive line, they were better than they were in Baton Rouge, but they still gave up so much pressure. But he is really good at feeling the pressure, escaping that pressure, and making plays with his legs. And at times, not taking off and running, but just eluding pressure and still delivering the football. He's very good at that.
A couple of throws that he made were on the run, rolling to the right or to the left as well. And look, Zach Evans was big. Now, clearly he's not 100%. At least, when I say not 100%, not 100% to be able to go and carry it 20 times. He had 8 carries for 75 yards, averaged 9.4 yards per carry. He was special in a limited role. TV, you'll see some of those as we talk about this matchup between Ole Miss and A&M. Good uniform. The all-white with the powder blue helmets. That's good.
Yeah, that's good. But
that one pops.
Yeah. But I know Texas A&M is down.
So is that kid right there, number 4.
Yeah.
He pops.
He's special. And that's a talented defense, right? I mean, Kiffin made the joke after the game. 390 against a bunch of 5-stars is pretty good. Noteworthy. But would you call this win?
Nobody touches him on that run there. If you're watching on SuperTalk TV, he gets the ball at like the 50. Nobody touches him until the 30. Nick Broker, SEC Offensive Lineman of the Week. Hope he celebrates with some Southern Coupe.
How is Quinshon Judkins, by the way, not on the SEC of the Week awards list?
He was Freshman of the Week.
Oh, was? Okay. I thought I missed that. Sorry.
I'm just saying the better question is, how is Quinshon Judkins not a 5-star coming out of high school? I want to know if you're a person who doesn't like recruiting rankings, he is the poster boy.
Yeah.
Like, this guy should have been the number 1 running back in the country last year.
Because nobody's surprised by this, right? That's the thing. If you listened to all the signing day stuff, the Ole Miss coaches knew that this guy was stepping in and playing immediately.
Yeah, but I don't think they knew he was going to be this.
No, Lane Kiffin has admitted as much. Like, they loved him, but this has exceeded all expectations. Mike sent us a message earlier
that that he's the only freshman in the SEC to have 1,000 yards in 9 games. It's just him and Herschel Walker. That's pretty good company for SEC running backs.
Well, and then so I guess you'll have Mississippi Senator Quinshon Judkins here in about 20 years. Hopefully his campaign
he's
goes
from
a little
Alabama.
bit
He might
smoother.
represent his home state.
But I know A&M's down bad, right? They are. There's no denying that. Not a particularly good football team. They were playing a true freshman, all that. But in spite of that, felt like this was
who isn't, though?
True. But it did feel like, call me crazy, that this was a mature win. And here's what I mean by that. They are banged up everywhere. They're playing guys that are hurt. I mean, Casey Kelly catches a touchdown here. He can't really run that much. They barely played him because he can't. But it's not just him. It's Finley didn't finish the LSU game. Cedric Johnson is hurt. Troy Brown is just littered with injuries. Zach Evans has that knee issue that kept him out of the LSU game. They're banged up everywhere. And then 100,000 people there. Credit to A&M fans, by the way, for showing up. That's pretty impressive. They get down early on the road, and offensively, they struggled in the first half after the opening possession. Really struggled. And then for, I guess, the second time this season, had a really good, productive offensive second half against a capable opponent. Because Troy shut him down the second half. Tulsa did. Kentucky did. They played well against Vanderbilt and had some success against Auburn. Mature is the word that I was thinking of from a young team last night, winning that game in the manner in which they did after struggling early and being down on the road.
I think that's an altogether fair way to describe it. You go into a difficult environment and you kind of get punched in the mouth early and you weather it and you settle down and you make some adjustments. I mean, if you went to a message board at halftime, there was a whole lot of fire Chris Partridge, he's got to go. I don't know if those people watched the second half or not, but pretty good play calling on the defensive side in the second half. And yeah, I mean, A&M helped that as well. How about wrinkles? Jason mentioned one a few minutes ago, said that he saw something defensively that he didn't think he had seen from Ole Miss before, kind of a twist that they were running on the defensive line. How about having Jonathan Mingo put his hand on the ground and be an inline tight end?
Had no other options. Had to do it.
Speaking of tight ends, as we're seeing here on SuperTalk TV, big catch for that kid, Kelly, who had just had a rough go of it the previous couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Pretty athletic catch, too, for a guy that's been banged up he's been.
I'll be honest, when I saw who the ball was going to, I was like, he's going to drop that. In the split, because he just been playing so poorly the past few weeks.
Yeah. Hey, Dad, our listeners remember everything. CC in Senatobia, he says, which of you guys said Ole Miss would not win a close game at A&M? You said Ole Miss would win big or A&M would win. You didn't think Ole Miss would win a game that was close.
I was wrong.
And in fairness, Ole Miss kind of kept A&M at arm's length. Now, it was obviously a 3-point win, and A&M had the ball at the end. So, by definition, close. But it's 24-14. It was 24-21. Then it was 31-21. And every time it felt like A&M had a little bit of momentum and tried to keep going, tried to get something more, whoop, Ole Miss would immediately
We had
answer.
talked about that with Mississippi State against Texas A&M. I remember Borky made a big point about it, that A&M scored to make it kind of interesting. State next play is a 75-yard touchdown pass to Ra Thomas. It wasn't just one play for Ole Miss, but A&M scores to make it 24-21, and Ole Miss goes right down the field, no stopping them, and it's a touchdown. It's back to a 10-point lead. Huge. That's how you win.
Connor Wigman's got a chance to be really good. Very arrogant answer from Jimbo after the game when he was asked about it. By the way, this was the play that got
get him some
Lane
real
Kiffin
coaching, and he'll be
and
fantastic.
Yeah. So the reason that Lane Kiffin was initially on the field was because of the flag where they called illegal contact downfield, but the ball was thrown at the line of scrimmage, and so it wasn't a penalty. And that's why he was at the field, and apparently the kid from A&M said something to him. Yeah, that's when the head coach has got to walk away, right? Instead of engaging there. And Lane Kiffin said, why don't you just fall down again?
You bleepity bleep.
With a few other words.
Yeah.
This is the drive you're talking about right here, hey, Dad.
Right here, yeah.
And
yeah.
It's aided by Judkins putting his team and the other team on his back for a long run. I mean, that was his 30th. Coming up on the screen, sorry for those of you just listening, this was his 30th carry.
This is why you need to watch on SuperTalk TV, because we have these highlights up and you can watch along with us. Look at this run.
Broke 4 tackles.
That's his 30th carry of the night doing that.
Thought he was gone. I thought he was going to get a little more burst there, but you said 30 carries. I mean, you can only do so much.
Yeah. And that was the carry that put him over 200 yards for the game, and just an incredible night. No, I was going to say something, though. Connor Wigman, man, he showed you something, right? 4 touchdown passes, no interceptions, 338 yards. He was sacked a couple of times. Clearly, Ole Miss made him way more uncomfortable in the second half. A&M had a pretty good plan for getting him into the flow early in the ballgame, some easy throws, some play-action stuff, utilizing the tight end over the middle of the field. He was helped out by a great catch by Evan Stewart, that one-handed touchdown catch in the end zone. All of those things happened. I thought that the post-game comment when Jimbo was asked about, did you consider playing him sooner? And he said, I'm paraphrasing here. I don't have the direct quote in front of me. But basically, you can lose a kid a whole lot faster than you can gain one, or something along those lines. It was the whole he wasn't ready. I get that, right? But clearly neither of the other guys that you ran out there were ready either. And so maybe instead of being so hard-headed with your complicated offense that we hear so much about, maybe you should dumb things down a little bit and bring your freshmen along, because you didn't have another guy with that kind of arm talent. Haynes
King could never do some of the things that Wegman did.
No
question.
There were some people that were frustrated with the interception call by A.J. Finley where they overturned it. That was clearly the right call. Yeah. He went out of bounds, had not yet reestablished himself as he was coming back in bounds, and so that's why the interception didn't stand.
Real quick, we got going back to our Halloween discussion. If Borky dresses like Richard, is that considered cross-dressing?
Hey,
that's a great tweet, great text, great job. I laughed.
Had somebody ask about Trigg. We'll see.
Yeah,
he should be getting close. I mean, there's a chance that he's back for Alabama. Chance. And then you got 2 games in, 5 days to close it out at the end of the year.
Dan in Hattiesburg, it costs more to buy out Jimbo than it would cost to bring Oklahoma and Texas into the league early.
Yeah. Oh, here's another.
That's an unbelievable number.
Another stat of the day for you. Quinshon Judkins, as I understand it, has 13 rushing touchdowns and 14 total touchdowns. I think he caught 1. That is more than Iowa football.
Gosh. He caught 1 against Auburn.
That is more touchdowns, him, the true freshman, than Iowa, the whole team.
By the way, Quinshon Judkins, assuming he stays healthy for the final 3 games, is on his way to setting a single-season rushing record at Ole Miss. He is 1 touchdown away from tying the single-season rushing touchdown record at Ole Miss, and that was set by K.O. Dotley in the 50s, I think. It's
Isn't he tied with Deuce right now?
I'll have to look. Sports